Hey guys, welcome to Tia Talks, and today we're here with Brenden Ortiz.
Ooh,
Welcome.
Thank you, Tia, for having me.
Of course. So, how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling really excited today, so I'm ready to get into it.
Yes. So, I want to know everything about you, but I want to know. So, I've seen that right now you are like launching this new show.
Yeah.
So, tell me about the Response Talk Show, right?
Yes, the Response Talk Show. So the Response Talk Show actually has been out for a year. We've started off during the pandemic on the IG Live. Then we transitioned over to YouTube.
Okay.
And so I seen that the numbers were going excessively high, and I'm like, okay, cool. Think I got a thing here.
Right.
So I basically just started to come up with different ideas. So the whole perspective of the response is for us to all express to understand. It's a predominantly LGBTQ show. So what we do is we talk about stigmas that basically shun the community. So we talk about sexuality, identity, pronouns. We talk about why is it so shameful to be a bottom. We get into a lot of different stigmas. We also, with the response and why the response went through so much transition throughout this whole year. Literally April 12th will make a year that we've been on in the public. And the reason being is because...
You said 12 years?
No, 12
months.
April 12th would make a year that we've been
that
we've been on in the public. I've done different media outlets. Like I started with the King B show, and I did different things, but the response was something that actually stuck with me. One, because I get to learn from the response, because me being a gay male, I don't really know much of the scene. I'm not in ballroom. I don't really have a lot of LGBT friends who will bring me into what's hot in the tea. So I really don't know a lot of the slogans and the lingo and stuff. So I'm learning from the response. And to have the co-host that I have, like Bugs Gutter from Pink Gorilla Entertainment, who's also like my gay uncle, to have him a part of the show and to hear his dynamics on his views on different topics is amazing. You guys really have to watch it. Also to have a non-conforming individual, Miss D, who identifies as him, she, they, them, and whoever. And so it's a different dynamic because it's technically 3 gay guys on the show, but in different aspects of life.
Right.
So you don't get that commercial or that individual that society wants a gay man to look like. You get different perspectives from a gay man. And what I was trying to say is that the response went through a whole lot of transition because I started off with cisgender women, and it was just me and cisgender women. And then I would have a whole lot of heterosexual men speaking on the topic.
Okay.
Right, exactly. But that is who my audience has always been.
Right.
Like I said, I've never had an LGBT-based audience.
So I want to know like a little bit about that too. Like, So you said that actually like triggered something when you said that when I was watching the last talk you had about the sexuality and stuff. But what you said it again is that you said you're not in the scene. So like, what do you mean by that? Like,
so I identify as a gay male,
yeah.
right? I've always said this, like I'm a gay male, but I'm not in the community. Like I'm starting.
But why do you feel like you're not in the community?
I feel like I'm not in the community because I don't like I identify. I love all my brothers and sisters.
Right.
Let's get that clear.
Yeah.
But I'm not in the community because I don't know everything that goes on in ballroom scenes. I don't know the keys and all of that. I'm not in tune. My partner, he's very into it all, and I love it all because I get to learn. Yeah. Because I come from. I think it has a lot to do with my mother passed away when I was 16, and so when I disclosed to my parents or my mother when that I was experienced relations or feelings for a man, she just said, "I want you to be a boy." And I guess that stigma of me or her wanting me to project boyish ways stopped me from knowing who I am and expressing the inner, whatever the inner is. And maybe I don't have anything extra to give. Maybe this is just who Brenden is. But that was always a toxic thing that stuck in my brain because I understood she wanted me to be a gay male, but also be a boy. But there's so many dynamics of gay males. There's so many dynamics of human beings in general. And so I guess 16 years ago when I was 16 versus 32 now, and seeing that everyone is trying to understand the community and trying to include us, and myself as well, because I'm trying to understand as well. There's things that I talk about on the show that I'd be like, wow, really? Like, I just learned that you can detransition. In my head, it's like bottling, because why would you want to transition, which is something that psychologically can, it's a trial of psychological being, physical being, and to go back and retract those traces, those steps that you've done, that's another psychological thing that you're going to have to go through. So I don't understand, and I'm glad that I have, this is why I expressed to understand on the response, because I need to understand everyone. And that's why I included everyone. That's why in the beginning it was cisgender. I learned a lot because I lost friendships from people who were actually friends of mine for 12 years who were on the response. And because of their views, I noticed that they didn't respect me as a human. Just because you love me, you say, oh, I support you, Brenden, I support you. But your views don't actually project that you support me. Because if you can say that I'm only on a platform because you gave it to me, I'm not really on the platform because I actually support you being a gay male who's living with HIV. You don't really support that because at the same time, you're diminishing those individuals on my show. So I can't have that.
Right.
So I'm glad that we have the response. Yeah. It helps everybody to have a voice.
Right. Well, I love everything. I love your response. But so when I was doing like some research on you and everything, it said serial entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So how would you just define that? Why do you feel like you embody that?
I embody serial entrepreneur. I may need to update that because I don't feel like that I am that anymore.
Okay.
Only because in the beginning, my book, The Pretty Boy with the House in Virginia, released actually 10 years in October this year. And so after that book came out, I was on different platforms. I was on MTV's HIV Greater AIDS. I was on so many different platforms. So I had a lot of revenue coming in. And so what I would do is invest my revenue into different things that I wanted to open up. So right now, my most lucrative and present company that I've had for the past 2 years is my Ortiz skincare line, which is a vegan skincare line that specializes in Afro-Latino skin. So anyone who is of minority, basically, who have melanin in their skin, who wants to use vegan products that won't damage your skin, it would actually help beautify your skin more than, anything that you buy from the white people's stores.
So are you vegan?
No, I'm not vegan, but I was vegan. I know you did your research, so you've probably seen that I actually have vascular cancer a couple of years. Well, actually last year I had 4 surgeries. And so prior to my cancer diagnosis, I was eating a lot of vegetables, eating a lot of proteins, but not really vegan. I wouldn't eat any red meats or anything like that. But yeah, so I'm not a vegan, but I did notice that like castor oil, jujubes, turmeric, those things are good for your skin.
Right.
So we added those into our products, and so it's mainly a vegan product.
Okay. And so, where can we get that?
Oh, on Amorpiel, which is AMORPIEL.com.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I didn't even know you were in skincare too.
I have so much.
That's so cool. So yes, serial entrepreneur.
Yes, right.
Wow, that's awesome. That's so cool to me because I want to tap into skincare too, because everyone's like, oh, you're always glowing and stuff. So
you do have a glow.
So I'm like, okay.
And she doesn't have much makeup on. You can tell she don't have much makeup on.
Thank you. So when I was watching the what you sent me on YouTube for the response, It seems like all of like the people that you have on come from all different walks of life and they share their experience. So what has been like the most like impactful show or episode for you?
The most impactful show. Wow. I think the most impactful show is the sexuality and identity show, because one, and there's some, and actually we're in production right now, so we have a deal with Out at TV, which is the subdivision of Out TV,
Okay.
and also Tubi, which is a subdivision from Fox. So we have a streaming deal with these streaming platforms, which are coming out this summer.
Okay.
And so we're in production right now. So an episode that you guys will see is conversion therapy. We talk about conversion therapy, and to hear people speak in regards to being electrocuted, to transition themselves from feeling like they're a homosexual to heterosexual. It's electric shock therapy. You have this like knee on like certain hard grounds while they throw books at you, Bible scriptures. So to do the research on what conversion therapy was, and to actually hear individuals in mainstream media like reality shows like what's his name? He was on VH1's Love and Hip Hop. Jonathan, he said that he experienced conversion therapy. So that's what made me bring that topic to the response. And to hear the different aspects, even when we hit the streets, because we hit the streets now on the show.
Oh, y'all are outside. Yeah. Okay.
We have a segment where we hit the streets to get input from the community, just not only LGBT. I hope that a lot of, because it's hard to hit the streets, especially in New York and during this COVID.
Right.
Nobody really wants to sit and talk. But it was insightful to see that people actually were against conversion therapy. Like, even though the individual will say they don't, they're not pro homosexuality, they still don't want someone to have to go through that cruelty. So that was one of the most impactful episodes besides the sexuality and identity one.
Wow. So if we could tap in, go a little bit deeper into that, were there any like success stories for that?
We didn't get into actually speaking to people who dealt with it.
Oh, okay.
Just the cast, ourselves giving out input and how we felt during the definition of it, getting the background facts of what conversion therapy is. And so to hear everyone having different stories in different ways of what a conversion therapy was, like what they experienced as far as what their conversion therapy was. So some people were probably shunned out of their homes because of the Black communities. You know how when you're raised in the Black community, they want you to act like a boy, like I said, my mother said. They try to shun away from homosexuality. Some fathers actually try to promote females to have sex with their sons at an early age so that they won't be homosexuals or whatever.
Right.
So, and it's just a whole lot when it comes to how someone can try to convert you to be what you're not, or what they want you to be.
Okay. Wow. That's a lot.
It is a lot. I'm getting a dry mouth over here talking so much, but no.
So I want to know, so with the two platforms the show is going to be on, is it going to be like a subscription base?
So both of them are actually free. Like you can actually, Tubi, if you guys didn't know, Tubi, you have free movies and free television there.
Okay.
You just have to sign up and become a member, but it's actually totally free. You may get some commercials, but it's totally free. With Out TV, it's a streaming network, so that one is going to stream an episode every week live. On Tubi, you'll have all 5 episodes for the season at one shot, so you can binge them.
Okay. And so you have like full creative control.
Yes, that was one of the biggest things that I fought for. So I'm sitting in my house 2:00 in the morning, writing emails, pitching into these people, sitting in offices, actually like Zoom meeting in them, pitching them, telling them like what the response was, and to fight for all creative control, even though when you do that, you have to like fund it more yourself. So it was okay. I said, okay, well, I have to put more money into it, that's fine with me because it's my dream, it's my baby, it's what I know I want and what I want to see be projected. And so when they gave me the opportunity to have creative control, I was like, yeah, we're going to do this. I built my own team. I have some amazing
Who's on
LGBT.
the team?
I was going to say, I have some amazing LGBT people on the team. So I have Chad Bailey, who is a creative director. So he's behind the cameras, making sure that all visuals are great, actually giving insight of what needs to be redone. There's times where Chad gets on my nerves. We do the same repetitive intro probably 15 times. And I'm like, I said that. I know. I know.
Right.
And then for me, I'm executive producing and directing the show. I created it. I wrote a script for it, which is not really scripted. Because when I presented the script to the host, they were like, "Why we never scripted this?" And I'm like, "No, it's not scripted. But for TV, we need the intro to be this certain way,
right.
And we need you to hit these key points." And so that's what's scripted. But other than that, we have Bugs Gutter, who is now an audio producer.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the last episode we're gonna have. So we have an unplugged segment. I'm all over the place, guys.
It's okay.
It's been a long day, but we have an unplugged segment. In the unplugged segment, it's kind of sort of like Vlad TV interviews, where we bring the LGBT artists only.
Okay.
Only LGBT artists. If you're an out artist and you have music and want to be on the platform, we bring you on. We give you an interview, and then you also perform later on in the season. So within 1 through 4 episodes, you're going to get a taste of different artists. As well as in the 5th episode, you get all the artists come together in a showcase and perform for you guys. Wow. So Bugs is the producer of that segment.
Okay.
And so we also have Tia Carter, who would also be a corresponding on the show. She is an LGBT artist on Pink Gorillas Entertainment. Mm-hmm. Wonderful, wonderful, elegant young lady. Oh, older lady, young lady? No, I'm going to say young lady because I don't want no drama. I don't want no drama. But yeah, so that, and then I have, so Chauncey Corbin, who is part of Project Heat. She's not a part of the LGBT community, but she was an initial host on the response in the beginning, one of the cisgender women. She is now a producer on the show. I made her a producer on the show because me and her actually started the response.
Okay.
The response started on a phone call. She called me like, I don't understand why people are so upset with Dwayne Wade telling him his daughter wants to be a woman. His son wants to be a woman or whatever. What is the issue? Why does his son not have I guess like the opportunity to be who she is? Mm-hmm. And so I was like, well, let's talk about it on IG. And then from IG, it just turned into like a big old show. And now I have a deal on the table, and we're projecting it this spring. It will be coming out in April, May. We don't have a date yet because Out TV is going to bring it out live every week. So once we have that live first episode, I'll let you guys know. And then Tubi is going to have it out. Like I said, it's a one-shot deal. So that is going to come out I know for sure in May.
Okay. Wow. So you have a lot going on.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I'm excited to see it all come out, and I'm going to be tuning in. So what is your background like in education? Did you go to school for production? Like, how did you fall into, your brand and your production company? Like, how did this happen?
So I started actually just taking pictures and producing visuals for my cousin. Okay. He was a rapper at one time, but this was when I was like 18 years old. I had went to BMCC, but I went to BMCC for nursing. Okay. Did 6 months there. Then I said, this is high school all over again. I need to go to a college where I'm going to feel like I'm in college. So I didn't end up going to college until I was like 26. Oh. Right. Okay. So after the whole time, I was just having fun. I'll take classes here and there. Nothing in production, just like administration classes or nursing classes, or like I have a dental assistance certificate. Like I've been all over the place. But in production, it just started. It was just something I really, truly loved. In the beginning, like as a child, I used to choreographer dance. Like that was my thing. I was dancing in the beginning. Then it went from photography. Then it was like I could do visuals now. And from visuals, it was just like, I have a thing. I just don't know what it is. Mm-hmm. And so I went to school. I went to Fayetteville State University in North Carolina. Go Broncos.
Yes.
And
I'm from Wilmington.
Oh, you are? Cool.
Yeah. So I'm a
so
familiar.
You already know.
Yeah.
So I went there. I got my bachelor's degree in communications media, which I thought I was going to be a broadcaster, like a regular just podcast. So I guess the response is a mix of that because I get to be TV personality. But yeah, that's how production started for me. Okay. Like, I've never taken any production classes. I just have an eye. I did one movie which I produced, which never got credit for, and I'm still salty about it.
Okay, let them know.
Please keep that in there. But yeah, I did a movie called Nightfall. That's how me and Chad Bailey met. He was an actor on the movie. Came out in 2017, called Nightfall. And yeah, I just always love production. I've worked in production where I did Bravo, Real Housewives season 7, Atlanta. I did Love and Hip Hop season 2. I think that was that was Atlanta season 1. So that was Love and Hip Hop season 1, Atlanta. Okay. So I did a lot of background production. I was always a PA, never actually produced or edited anything. So this is my big project.
Right. So how are you able to like keep everything organized?
Oh, nothing's organized. Nothing is organized. But shout out to my partner, because if he's not like right there telling me like, hey, you got to do this. Do you need me to help you with this? If he's not there to help me, right, it'll be all over the place. But I don't really have I don't have anything organized. Like, so, I'm up at 2:00 in the morning, and I'm in bed at 9 p.m. and then up again at 2. Wow. Yeah, that's how I do.
So those other roles that you had, like on those other reality shows and being a PA, so that helped you
become this person.
This person we're talking
become
to
the
now.
Executive producer of The Response. Yeah.
That is so cool. And then so you also your website launched for the production company?
Yeah, so
yesterday?
So I had a production company, like I said, when I was like 18, right, but it was never LLC'd. It was never legalized. This is actually legalized. This is Brenden Ortiz Productions Media, where we produce talk shows. Like, I have another talk show which is based on cisgender females, but we're going to revamp it because now I have cameras, I have mics, I have lavaliers, I have space. I'm going to go ahead and give her the best show she needs after I finish with my production. And even though I need a little vacation, I don't think I'm going to get one yet. Okay. I need to continue producing. I need to continue creating. But yeah, the website launched about 2 days ago. And the day before that, the press release for The Response came out. And so it was just like hit. And I was just like, I'm not sleeping no time soon. Right. Because now I get a call like, hey, you have an interview on Wednesday. Are you free? I'm like, yeah, I guess so.
Well, now you're here.
I'm like, yeah, I'm here. And so from this point forward, this actually gives me the kick in the butt to get the rest of the cast on to do interviews, because we need to start doing promos.
Right. Wow. Okay. So here we are. So I was going through like your Instagram feed. Okay. So are you able to like separate like your personal life and like your creative side, or do you keep it all together?
It's all meshed
together.
I've been trying to separate it.
But why? Why are you trying to do that?
Because I want a little bit to myself.
Okay, you want privacy.
Right. Like I said, I published my book almost 10 years ago. I gave you guys too much when I was 21. Mm-hmm. And at 32, I don't want to give too much. I want to retain something for self. But there's like a tug of war with that, because my brand is my life. Yeah. So I've given you guys my life from 21. I can't renege. And then there's a new project stirring up right now that basically is following my life. Yeah. So there's no way for me to try to pull it back, unless which I have retained my relationship. Like I project that I am dating someone, but they don't really see who it is. Okay. Like, I don't really put that much up there.
You don't share that part. So.
I don't know. Okay. Not after my marriage.
Oh, you were married?
Oh yeah, that's shit. Okay. Divorce, went to jail, end of story. He cheated.
Goodbye.
Right. Done.
Well, I asked that because, like, about your personal life, because, like, so I was on your YouTube and you're, like, cutting cantaloupes and, like, so I'm like, okay.
That was during the pandemic. It was so boring. I had to find some. I was making cocktails, singing songs that I didn't.
I was like, okay, cantaloupe.
They was like, oh my God, he must, like, what is this slurping? He's slurping so well. I'm like, come on, guys. The females were like, I don't know what is up with these heterosexual females and gay men. They are so fascinated with us. Like, I was literally just eating the fruit and it was juicy, yes. But then it had nothing to do with nothing oral, nothing sexual. Like,
I didn't see the comments. I don't know.
I was just like, what is going on?
Wow.
Yeah, I posted the clip on Instagram and they were just like, oh, I know you know what you done with your mouth. And I was like, okay, maybe. Maybe.
It's a mystery. Whoa.
Right.
But yeah, because the reason why I asked is because, like, I'm, like, kind of, like, at a space, too, where I'm trying to figure out, like, what I should do. If I should just keep giving and, like, opening up, like, my life to everybody, or if I should just keep some for myself.
Keep some for yourself. You don't want to give too much.
Yeah.
Because then you really don't have a personal life. And sometimes I feel like I really don't have a personal life because I've given so much. And a lot of people if you give so much, they want to continue to see that much. And now that they see that I'm working so hard that I can't give you a lot of my business, especially what's going on in production. And I don't want to give it to you guys no more. Yeah. Retain it for yourself. That's all I can tell you.
Okay. So I want to know, like, what advice can you give somebody like myself in the beginning stages of just, like, trying to create, like, a platform?
Well, first of all, this platform is pretty cute.
Thank you.
I like the setup. Like, it's giving a good, cute little podcast. Not cute little, because I hate when people say
you're the second person that just said that today. The little. Keep going.
No. I'm gonna finish my statement because when can I curse?
Yes.
When bitches say little to me, I be like, ain't shit little in my business.
Okay.
Because you diminish what the project is, and I don't want to diminish your excellence.
Okay, thank you.
So what I would like to say is that you're doing an amazing job. Just continue to grow. Like I said, I've been through many platforms, and the response is where I stick to. Maybe Tia talks, maybe Tia speaks, maybe Tia yells. Who knows? But continue to be Tia.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And that's my message. Just continue to be yourself, people.
Yes. So on Instagram, right, I was listening. You posted the photo of the Response talk show, and then you had a song playing in the background. So was that song the song by Buzz Gunna? Was that the theme song?
No, but I would love it to be. Like, I love that song, and I feel like that little clip that you guys get, real talk, say it with your chest, motherfucker. I feel like that should be the
theme song.
The theme song.
Yeah.
But they just got to take out the curses because the network will not allow that to be the theme song with the curse.
Okay. Well, why not? Because it's on streaming. Why is there, like,
well, Tubi wants us to limit cursing on this talk show. And so I feel as far as it being like the theme song, that would be changed, the cursing. And I also would like them to implement, if we use that, hint bugs, if we use that, implement the response, implement something in regards to real talk, express to understand, something like that. Like, I don't know, I'm not a rapper, I just write.
Right. And but you also have that tagline, cultivating magic, right, on your production.
My production, because I want to. Mind you, that just came out of nowhere. Like, I was making the logo, and then I was just like...
You made the logo?
Oh, everything you guys see on the response on my page is designed by me. I don't have nobody. That doesn't sound like a petty person. I don't have nobody. No, but I literally am a one-man band. Like, I do it all.
How you design a logo?
I'll tell you after. So I give you my little tea. So you can do it yourself. How do I do this? No, but it's so easy. There are so many outlets out there that we don't really implement in our lives. And I'm like, my mother used to say, you always trying to find the easy way out. Well, there is always some way to ease your brain. Like, I have a million things on my plate. You think I'm going to worry about a designer taking 2 weeks to come back with a logo that's going to look like the same way I just did it? With a B&O?
I
And a
get
little
it.
crescent moon.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, let's talk about that design. Yeah. So yeah, let's talk about that design. It's given very minimalist.
Right.
Is that your aesthetic you're trying to give?
I'm very simple,
Okay.
simplistic. I like simplicity because it's, as you see, I'm very simple.
Right.
Your last
Yeah.
guest was very, I noticed
Eclectic.
your guests are very like,
Out
I
there.
don't know how to dress. I say that all the time. So if you guys ever see me dressed looking nice with a different, not this simple 2-piece that I just put on. If you guys see me that's my boyfriend. That ain't me.
Oh, he dresses you.
Yeah, he dressed me. Like during production, through all those 5 episodes, I was like, what do I put on now? I'm really, I was raised on Old Navy.
Okay.
So I kind of still got that little Old Navy swag where I like a fleece and some jeans. Sometimes I put on some sweats and some sneakers. Right. Like I'm real Brooklyn. Okay. Like I'm good.
You rap Brooklyn, right? I'm
real Brooklyn.
Flatbush?
Like, I am from Fort Greene. My parents is from Fort Greene Projects. I was raised in Flatbush. I live in Marine Park, unfortunately.
Where is that?
Right. Somewhere I should have never moved. Right.
I'm sorry.
It's the Marine Park for me.
I never heard of it.
It's like towards Coney Island. It's like really out there.
Oh, okay.
But we're trying to migrate towards Bushwick. Like
area. That's where I am.
Yeah, I've lived there all my life. My grandparents lived there 40 years. So it's like, that's my area. And then I'm Puerto Rican. So it's like, I got to be with my gualas.
Yes.
But yeah, so cultivating magic. I say cultivating magic because everything that I want to produce has to have a magical story. I want it to be testified. I want it to be something that will have a testimony at the end of each story. Like at the end of each episode of Response, there's a closing statement like Jerry Springer. Okay. And so it closes up and gives a synopsis of what the show episode was about, but giving you what advice you should take from here. Mm-hmm. Not telling you what to take, but giving you what you should have took. So with everything I produce, I want to produce something that's going to leave a message, that's going to be magical. And so I also have a documentary that I've been working on since last June. I don't want to release it until after the response. Okay. It was supposed to release before the response, but the response came, deal on the table, got a deadline to make. So the response comes first. But it's called A Day in the Life of Brenden Ortiz, and that follows me going through the whole cancer situation last year, doing all 4 surgeries and seeing all 8 tumors removed. And so it's just, I always want to provide a testimonial story in everything that I do. So cultivating magic is cultivating any type of magic that is going to come with a story. I don't want to give you bullshit. I want to give you something that has substance. We already have enough reality TV. That's not what I'm giving.
So after going through like the cancer and getting all of the tumors removed, how's your health now?
My health sucks. Unfortunately, there's more bad news. Actually, today, I'm going to the doctor tomorrow in the morning. Hopefully, I'm praying that everything goes well. I heard that you said that a lot of your individuals on your show come and say they manifest certain things.
Yeah.
I don't believe in manifestation. I believe in God. I feel like they're not the same. Manifesting something is speaking into the universe. And I understand that God is a Holy Spirit, but I believe in praying to God because He is the one that has cultivated my life. From losing both my parents at 16, 19, mother cancer, father suicide, me going through all of that, and then HIV at 19, cancer from 26 until now, and always battling the cancer and beating the cancer after surgery. I pray to God. I get on my knees. I do worship in my closet. I literally play gospel music when I'm having bad days and scream and shout to God, and everything works out. I never have an issue. And so I'm not saying that manifestation is not real, because there is a law of attraction. I learned that in school. I know that in the book. There is the power of the tongue, which I learned in the Bible. So those go hand in hand. But when they say manifestation, I think about speaking to the universe and who is the universe, because sometimes I don't trust the universe.
That's an interesting perspective. Well, for me at least, I feel like they're one and the same.
I just said they. Okay. I said they go hand in hand.
Yeah. So
she's like, wait, they one and the same.
Hold on.
No, because you do like I said, you the power of the tongue.
Yeah.
Which is also, you speaking into the universe is the same thing as the power of the tongue.
Yeah.
So they do go hand in hand, but I just don't say manifestation.
Okay. Okay. So when you're praying to God.
Yeah, guys, did y'all see her face?
So when you get down on your knees and you praying to the Lord, what are you asking him for?
I always my general prayer is, Lord, to continue to heal me, guide me, and protect me. That's all I ask for. I don't ask for anything materialistic. I don't ask you to pay my bills. I don't ask him to make sure my lights is on, food is in my, nothing like that. I just want him to guide, heal, and protect. Because I need guidance, because I don't know which way in this path I need to walk. So if you can guide me whichever spiritual way you want to guide me, that as well. I can go ahead and continue to walk in your steps. I need healing because my body, internal, is not well. I might feel and like you get everybody saying, "Oh, you don't look sick." I don't look sick, nor do I feel sick. But my internal side is sick, and I cannot deny that. I have to live in it, but not feed myself to it. So you have to acknowledge that you're. So I'm going to use my old call center acronyms. You need to acknowledge, empathize with yourself, and resolve your issue.
Okay.
No, but literally you need to do that, and you need to use that AER in everyday life, because when meeting somebody, you need to acknowledge what they're going through, because everybody's going through something. Like coming here on the train, I was in interaction with a homeless man that kept saying he's been homeless for 20 years. Now I need you to sit back and acknowledge why you've been homeless for 20 years. Empathize with yourself. Now find the resolution to your problem.
That's what you told him?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because at 20 years of home, once he says, I took my headphones out. Normally, I don't listen to these people.
Right.
But you going to sit here and say you was homeless for 20 years? The same way you could sit here and have your hand out for money is the same way you can go sit at a McDonald's or now a Target and make $24 an hour.
Yeah. That is true.
I've been through it all. I've been on the verge of homelessness. I've been evicted. I lost, like I said, my parents at 16, so I didn't have a way. I just weighed myself.
Yeah, you found the way.
Right.
You gave it to God.
Right. And I was born again Christian at 22 years old, and it's not easy. I'm not perfect. I'm not holy. I don't read the Bible from front to back. I'm not saying that I am living in God's every blood living way, but I know that the only way that I'm going to be okay is if I pray. Mm-hmm. Mentally, if I pray. Because when you go through so much in life, you don't know which way to go. You don't know if you want to continue to live. And I'm not saying that I had suicidal thoughts, but I've had a best friend who committed suicide because she didn't know which way she wanted to go. And as much as I continue to tell her to pray, some people don't believe in God, and you can't force it. And there's always an outlet for someone. Even it's God, therapy, manifestation, whatever you may believe in, there's always something for someone.
Right. So with your life and all that you've been through thus far, have you ever had to like tap into like therapy?
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny because I was talking to one of my cousins today that I haven't spoke to in probably a couple months. But she was actually discussing like she thinks she needs therapy, and I'm like, yeah, I know one right where you're at. Go down the block. They'll definitely take you. But I've been in therapy since I was 16. Since my mother died from cancer, I've been in therapy. And then it's an on and off thing. Mm-hmm. So with me now as an adult at 32, I don't feel like I need therapy on a constant basis for my mental. I feel like I sometimes talk to a life coach to rearrange certain things, especially with everything that's on my plate now. It's like I can't manage because I don't have an assistant, or nor do I have organization skills. So it's like I need that in my life to manage. So that's why they have life coaches or life therapists to help you with those type of things. So yeah, definitely believe in therapists.
How is it working with a life coach?
A life coach is different.
And
so,
how did you find this person?
Oh, they all over the place. Literally on Instagram, I found this life coach.
Oh, okay.
But she is amazing. She, to me, okay, so with therapy, what you do is you sit there, you talk to a person, they say, how do you feel about this? What are you going to do about that? So you're not really getting any pointers of what you should do, or like key points of like, hey, this is 1, 2, and 3. No suggestions there. You just have to figure it out on your own.
Yeah.
And so you're paying this therapist so much money. With a life coach, she helps me guide through my life. So with the project, like literally with the response, she helped me get every bullet point together and what needed to be first. So now, like the first day of production, I was all over the place. Like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. 2 days later, I went to go see her. I said, I don't know what is going on, but that first day was a mess. It was like, I was flustered. I was getting upset with people and I'm like, everybody's here helping me.
Right.
Like, why am I getting so flustered? It's because everything wasn't organized. So what she did was, now I have everything organized, everything. I have a budget sheet. I have a call sheet. I have everything together now.
Wow.
Because she said, this is what you need. You need these things in line in order for you to have a successful day. And even on your everyday day, you need to have bullet points. You can't just break yourself down and just say, okay, well, I'm doing this all today, whatever it is. No, you have to have a list of 5. Yeah, a plan.
Yeah. So there's this one like quote, like if you don't plan, then you plan to fail. Do you believe in that?
If you don't plan, you plan to fail. No.
Okay, why not? Because you saying you gotta have bullet points and you gotta have a little plan.
You have to have a plan, but that doesn't mean that if you don't have a plan, you're gonna fail.
Yeah.
All my life, I had no plan. I'm just starting to get structure.
Okay.
Every failure doesn't mean that you're every fail that you have doesn't mean that you're a failure. So I failed several times. But am I a failure? No. So I don't feel like without a plan, you're going to fail. You can continue to do whatever it is you want to do without a plan because I've done it.
Right.
It may work. It may not work. Those are just the chances you take. So a plan or without a plan, take the chance. Either way, we're going to fail or not fail.
Right. Okay. Well, I love that.
It's literally that's just as plain as day. Like you will never know if you don't try.
That's true.
You will never know if you're gonna fail unless you try. So
take the risk.
Take the risk. Take the risk.
Okay. And I want to talk about your book.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
Haven't talked about that in 10 years.
Okay,
let's go.
So let's do it again.
Let's go.
So why did you decide to write on a page, on a computer, about your diagnosis of being HIV positive?
So that's why I haven't talked about this book in 10 years, because my projection, and that's why I'm so glad that I have creative control of the response. Now, let me say this before I say what I'm going to say. I'm going to say a disclaimer because me and the person is really cool now.
Okay.
My publicist and my publisher thought, after reading the entire manuscript that I presented to them, that story was the story to be told.
Okay.
So when my book, The Pretty Boy with the House in Virginia, was first published or was first presented as a manuscript, it was presented as The Surreal Life, an Unsurreal Life. It wasn't projected as The Pretty Boy with the House in Virginia.
Okay.
When they go into the book, when publishers or publicists or managers go into your book or any type of creative content that you have, they have every right, or depending on your contract, have every right to pull it apart, edit it this way, put this that way. And so that's what they did. So I initially wrote the book for therapeutic reasons. I wanted to talk about my mother. I wanted to talk about how that trial with cancer that she dealt with, that I had to help her at 15, 16 years old with no one else to help besides her mother and here and there her sister. And then I wanted to also project the climate of mental illness, because my father was battling mental illness, and he committed suicide after killing his girlfriend. And so I wanted to project those stories. I wanted to project a story at the end stating that, because literally the last chapter in my book is faith over sight, faith not sight, actually. Mm-hmm. So I've always projected my faith. And so I implemented my HIV story in the initial manuscript, but that was just an addition to this happened, my mother died, my father died, and now I was lost. So now I'm subjected to promiscuity and trying to find my sexuality, because I didn't come out the closet, quote unquote, whatever closet it was supposed to be. I didn't come out to my family, which I still have an issue with people coming out. I didn't come out to my family until I was 19, 20. And I was already dibbling, dabbling with boys or guys when I was like 14. So it was more so me wanting to project those type of stories in regards to like the cancer, the suicide, mental health, and promiscuity. Not, this is an HIV book. Okay. And now let's put HIV on the front of the book. And now it was just...
So it took a different turn. That's what you're saying.
Right. It really took a different turn, but it took a different turn for the best.
Okay.
And I say that because it still was therapeutic for me. I still got what I wanted to get out of the book. I wanted to get all this anger, all this baggage, all this missing my mother, all this hating my father, all this guilt for me just being the nasty, promiscuous individual trying to find who I was and contracting HIV and sleeping with somebody that I thought was like the best person in the world and not knowing that he had full-blown AIDS. Mm-hmm. And so it was just a whole roller coaster for me. And so I got all of that out. And in all of that being said, when I read the book after it was completely finished, before it was published, I say, wow, this is going to be good for teenagers. I said, this is going to be a good book, raw, uncut book for teenagers, something like Push when I was growing up. Not so thick, not so intense, but straight to the point. This is what it is, because we don't get a lot of education on sexuality. We don't get a lot of education on sex. We don't get a lot of education on HIV. We barely get a whole page of HIV and STDs. We get like a six sentence.
Yeah.
So for me being from Brooklyn and touring all 5 cities, I went to Rikers Island and did a book signing.
You did?
When I was 22 years old. Okay?
How was that?
Right. How was that? And I was in my head when my publicist booked the book, and I'm like, who's buying books there? We're not going there. I don't want to go there. I'm not going to see the prisoners. And that whole experience to go to the bus, to go walk on against the wall, having them to strip me down, to pat me down, make sure I don't have no no knives or nothing like that. That whole process was intense, but to sit there and actually do a presentation in front of inmates, that was the best. Because to see their insight and to see their face and to hear their stories, what they go through in the prisons and what they do behind closed doors, it was just like, one guy I remember telling me that he did 5 years or 3 years on Rikers Island, I want to say, and had a homosexual guy in his cell that was his girlfriend, and went home to his wife, and she contracted HIV.
Wow.
Right.
That's
so
heavy.
it was a lot. It was just like, okay, I'm 22 years old. I think we should go out of here. This is too much for me. And so now seeing myself at 22, 10 years later, I'm like, wow, I was very impactful. I was very ahead of my time for people that weren't ready for that type of story, even though there were individuals before me.
Right.
But in New York, people actually, a guy saying that he's HIV positive, openly saying that he's HIV positive, not giving a fuck if he's gay, but just saying that he's HIV positive. Right. Because I don't look like the flamboyant society type that they want to see. So they were like, wow, like this is real. Like it was to a point, and I used to live in Crown Heights when my book came out. I would go to the corner store and people in the hood were buying my books, and I would get stuck. I stopped at the corner store like, "Oh my God, you the pretty boy with HIV." I hate that. No, not
now.
not now, but back then I hated it. Like it was just like, come on, don't you blagging out my status out here in these streets.
Right.
But it was something I gave you guys, and I felt like we needed it in New York. We needed it. I went to Howard University. Like I went places where
you became a motivational speaker,
right,
which is amazing.
Right, and it's something that I spoke at Thomas Jefferson High School, Clara Barton High School, El Puente High School. I've been to different high schools in this area. I've been to Howard University, like I said, Rikers Island. I went to Atlanta. That's where I started my career in production. But throughout that whole trial, like I really started to touch individuals. Like even there was times when I was in the beginning of my career with the book, and I would have like 6 and 7 graders, coming to me saying, "Oh my God, I want to volunteer for you. You open my eyes to so much. I be trusting these boys." And it was literally little girls. I be trusting these little boys. And one of the girls who was like really, really close to me, to this day, I probably can find her on Instagram and she'll still talk to me. She ended up having a kid in high school.
Wow.
And she was so ashamed to tell me that she had a kid. She was like, "I'm embarrassed because you kept saying, don't use condoms, use condoms, use condoms." And I trusted him. And I was like, "At least you got a kid and nothing more." And so she was just like, "I'm just so happy that you're always so real with us." So those little moments that I remember always helped me be okay with the fact that my book was HIV. It was like, okay, this is okay. I'm okay. And even when the book came out, the production, the publicist took it down, but we had a 5-episode docuseries that followed me. That's why you see I don't know if I sent you the clips, but there's clips where it says B. Styles Ortiz.
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, that used to be my old stage name. Okay. But people kept asking, "What's B. Styles? What's B. Styles?" And I was like, all right, I'm over this. I don't got an answer for you guys. It was just something that I came up with, like
a username.
Yeah, and then I just used it forever, and so with that, with me saying that, the docuseries were so impactful as well because I'm raw. I'm very raw. Like it was times when I just started my medications, I was taking videos, I was sweating, throwing up. Like you see all of that, and that is what I continue, and I think that's why I say cultivating magic. Because those scenes you might say is too much, but that is the rawness that we need in this time. And back 10 years ago, we needed it because people are so shunned and so sheltered on sexualities. They don't want to talk about sex. Like even talking about sex in general, like just intercourse. It's a shaky thing for an adult.
Taboo.
I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? You just had sex last night. Didn't you just fuck somebody? Like, right. Why you can't talk about it here? Why does it have to be shunned away? So I'm appreciative and I'm grateful that my book came out as an HIV book.
Well, that was a lot, I'm going to be honest with you. And I'm so thankful though, because I love how open you are. And the fact that you wrote the book and your story is like super inspiring. And some of the stuff I didn't know coming in like about you, and now it just like opened my eyes even more. Like I want to cry a little bit.
No, don't. You can't cry, but don't cry.
I don't know.
I see it.
I just feel like I feel like super connected to you, and I'm just like really thankful for like the work that you did 10 years ago, and then now the work that you're doing now, and what you're doing to uplift,
man, don't make me cry
the community, the LGBTQIA community, and like just going back from the beginning, you are a part of that community because you're shining light on these people, and I just wanted to say
Thank you. No, I'm actually happy that you. I'm actually happy that you said that because so there's a project that's not supposed to be spoken about.
Right.
But I filmed a project, and in the project is predominantly LGBT individuals. And so in that project, it was uncomfortable for me. And it also made me kind of open up and let them know that the reason why I've never actually supported or attended any LGBT events besides one Pride in 2009 when I was 19 years old is because I never felt accepted. I never felt that because I'm not flamboyant enough, or I'm not into so much fashion, or I'm not, like, I did never feel like I was accepted. And so even when my book came out, I'm a gay boy, I'm a gay man, I'm showing y'all that I'm a gay man, I'm showing y'all that I'm HIV positive, I'm showing y'all that I'm doing this for us, and still not about 10% of my sales was LGBT. And then people got upset when I came out with the response and it was all heterosexual panel. But that's my audience, and that's who was supporting me. But now that I see that my sisters and brothers is finally supporting me, I'm giving y'all a platform, and thank you. We can do this together.
Let's do it together. I love it.
No, but I really always wanted to, and I think I can't blame you all because it wasn't a collective of people. It was also myself because of how I was raised and how, like I said, the boy. I have to be the boy, so I have to stay away from certain characteristics so I won't, I guess, take away from those characteristics and start to be those people. Or you know how you can not be the person, but you can take traits from individuals and then it can be embedded in yourself.
Yeah.
You don't mean to do it. It just happens. It just happens.
You're constantly around.
Right.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to forget who I was and then start being someone else. And then maybe that someone else would have been me, or maybe not. But I just did not want to take that chance. And I guess all the bad stigmas in the ballroom scene, I never wanted to be a part of a house. I didn't want to get raped by my fathers. I didn't want to go ahead and have sex with my brothers and sisters from the LGBT. I didn't want to do the drugs. But now that I'm actually seeing the people, and actually I have friends who are in ballroom. I have Bugs Gutter is my gay uncle outside of a house. He's not even in a, well, I'm not in a house, but he's in a house.
Right.
And I see that those stigmas was just that, stigmas. To keep me away from people who are actually of me and of what I know and what I'm trying to get to know better. And so I'm glad that I'm glad that I have the response so that we can stay away from those stigmas, because those stigmas bring a bad lighting to the community, and it makes myself and anybody who's trying to come out or be who they are afraid to be who they are because they don't want to be associated with that stigma. I don't want to be another statistic on top of the statistics I'm already in.
Right. All right. Well, I wanted to say something.
Okay.
Just
like, I talk too much, right?
No, it's like just playing off of what you said, how you didn't feel comfortable. And it's like I had a completely different experience. Really? I feel the most comfortable in the queer community.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like at home. Like I didn't really have like a bad childhood or anything, but I always felt like a little different. Like I didn't fit in with like, I'm mixed, so I'm Colombian and Black, so I never really fit in with like one group of people. Right. And then I grew up in like a predominantly white neighborhood, so I talk a little white sometimes, they say. So I was just always like different. And then like somehow I kind of just ended up at like some like this like big queer party, and then like I was just making friends, and like in the first time in my life I actually felt like I had like people that I could connect with.
You felt free.
Yeah.
I felt that way. Like I said, I felt that way when I started to hang out with Bugs and Chad and Tia Carter, and I was just like, wow, now I could be myself.
Yeah.
Because I would hang out, like I said, my family is, and I feel like my family, they love me, but they don't understand the community, and they don't shun the community out. They're like, oh, we love the community or whatever. But I feel like it's conditional love. It's not unconditional love for the community. And so there are certain aspects of how I was raised that kind of play a part in why I was shutting myself away from the community. But I'm glad I'm a part of it now.
Yes. Well, I love our little talk.
Right.
But I'm so thankful for you being here on my show, Tia Talks.
Tia Talks.
Yes. And I'm excited for the Response Talk show.
Yes. We're going to have you on the talk show. We're going to have you on the show as a co-host. Yes, we got to figure it out.
Okay.
If it's not the first season, because we almost finished wrapping up the first season, definitely the second season, because we need you on the show.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Tia is out. Later. Bye, guys. Ooh, we did it.
Yeah.
This show hot like the pot been cooking. Come to your talks if you out here pushing. A&R fans and brands stay looking. You know who to call when you ready for a booking. Shorty bad, watch the way she walk.